YouTube? Welcome back to Forsland's Fun Factory. Today we're going to try to put together a wheel. Not this one's just fine, off of one of my bikes. But we have a project that we're working on and I need to build a wheel to suit for it. I have a hub, spoke nipples, park tool, spoke wrench, and a bunch of nasty spokes that will do just fine. So we're gonna build a wheel and let's do it. So the reason why we're building a wheel, we're gonna take a look at this. I've been working on a bike that I'm looking to give away to a friend, and this was not a wheel that came off of it. We actually got this like a year ago. The seat post was stuck, this frame, and I'm building it up to be a bike that, I don't know, he can beat around on or whatever ends up happening. But this was the wheel that I chose, and after I was trying to true it because it was bent, it just plain old would not true out. So take a look here. So this, got a nipple in there. This just, at that rate, it's not gonna true out. So now I did watch a video of a guy in like India or something just beating the crap out of one of these wheels to try and true it. And at that point, if you're going to take the time to try to beat the bend out of it, why not just build a different wheel with a different hoop? So I have this hoop here. It's not like life-changing or anything, it's just a wheel that I took apart to get just the hoop. And this one, as you can tell, a lot better, way more flat. So it's got its fair share of dings and dents, but it's going to do just fine for us. So what we need is our hub. And this one, nothing all that crazy special. I should actually rebuild it real quickly, or at least add some grease into it, but we're just going to build it first and then take care of that later. And if you look, this one does not have any writing on it, so it's just a no name, nothing special. But when it was laced up before, I don't know if you can see that, but you can see which spokes kind of came through where. And you want that to kind of match up. Oh, and I hit the wrong one. So we're going to go in this one. And as you see, that spoke will land into that little divot, and it won't put divots into the other spots of the spokes, so, or other spots in the flange of the hub. So, and you also have those on the inside for the, not nearly as bad. But after that, I don't know, maybe you watched a Bike Farmer video just recently, but he wanted to line up the logo so you could see it through the valve stem hole. We're not so worried about that because there is no logo. And then we're just going to thread it through and put a spoke nipple on it. And then we're just doing like a little turn or two. We don't want to have too much tension on this thing. And there we are, loaded up with our first spoke. So as we're going, this will actually rotate a little forward to land in that slot on the hub. We're going to go every 2 holes on the flange of the hub, and then every 4th hole, so you're going to skip 2 and then land in the next one. So let's toss this in here. Kind of takes some time to weasel it through, but once you start going, it does get a little bit easier. And then same ordeal, a little couple twists on there just to get it, and then just to get it to land right. It's going to sit something like that. Skip another hole on the flange, and then another 2 holes on the wheel. Put a nickel on it. And we're making progress, something just like that. So I'm going to take the time to do all these odd spokes, and then we'll come back to the other side. So Alright, so I don't know if you saw that, but I actually had made a mistake. You do have to skip 3 holes in between, and that kind of makes sense. We have the opposing spokes for this side that have to take a hole still yet. And then we have 2 spokes that go on this side each, opposing each other on the opposite side too. So we do have our first side spoked up, or laced, whatever you want to call it, and so far so good. So now we're going to do the opposing spokes. If I really wanted to, I could switch to the other side, or I could do this side. It doesn't really matter, but you do want to add in that little rotation and get those spokes to land in where they used to sit prior as you're relacing. So I'm going to switch to the other side just for fun, just to show that I can do it. And again, you can lace both sides at the same time or whatever, but this needs to stay rotated that way. And we're going to lace. You can kind of watch where those divots point, and that kind of helps you figure out where that's going to go to. We got our first one in, and we can just keep moving. Skip 3 holes in between. 2 on the flange, 3 on the made another mistake. I was going too fast. Now I gotta move this out and these 3 spokes. Darn it. Well, maybe we'll just work backwards. That's okay. Maybe you just watched Bike Farmer's video just recently. He put one out about wheel building. Made some nice set of wheels for one of his road bikes. Kind of fun to see different techniques throughout doing all these. And they do make special tools to get these all the way in there and everything's just loose right now, so not really a big deal. But it does get a little annoying having to thread them through here just proper, so, and it's only going to get worse. I built, trying to think of the last time I put some wheels together, and I built my fat bike wheels on my fat bike, and that was my first set doing. That's maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, and kind of fun. My first time ever doing it. I built a set of bike wheels, or fat bike wheels, with Onyx hubs, and if you know anything about those are awesome. Built here in Minnesota, so shout out to them. I got some awesome hubs for that fat bike on there, so pretty sweet. And you can also prep your spokes by putting a little, they have like spoke lube or whatever. I didn't do that on my other set. And now when we look, we have a hole opposite every other on there. Same on this side, every other. Well, this clearly would never last as a wheel, so we need to add our opposing spokes. And these are going to go the opposite direction, so you're going to come in from the outside rather, and you're going to go under. We're doing a three spoke weave. Under, and then over. And then you have to thread your spoke nipple through the wheel a little bit here. Takes a little finagling to get it just right. Screwdriver would be nice with a little divot cut out of it or whatever. Same thing, through the hub. Watch where your spoke weaving. Under, over. Under, over. Things are getting a little tighter here as we add spokes. You might have to do a different way to do some different things to get it to thread, depending on your length. I'm just building it's a 26er set here, so see, I missed where I was going. That's actually wrong, so keep double checking yourself. I went one too far. That's why things felt weird. Now on this one, under, over, and over here. There we go. Now we're back on track. Under, over. Now you can bend these spokes as you're working through them a little bit, but you don't want to like put tight bends in there, so be careful with what you're doing. Under, over, At a certain point, you'll get to the two spokes around the valve stem being threaded, and we have our valve stem hole here. And you want to look down and see that there's an open spot for your valve stem that's not going to cross over in that area. So, looking good so far. We have 3 more remaining that we have to weave through here. Try not to scrape up the wheel while you're doing this at the end of the spoke. And then we got one last one. Again, take your spoke, weave through. You're going to go under this one, under that one, and over this one. You got to weasel it through, get it to bend right, and then you might have to put a little tension on it to get it over the top of where you want to go. There you are. So we got it laced on that side, and we only have this side left. Looking good, looks like a wheel. Right now, nothing's tensioned, so you would never want to ride something like that because it's just going to be a friggin' noodle, but kind of cool. On this side, we're going to take a different approach. We're going to hopefully show you. So we got our spokes coming in from the opposite side, and now we have to do some finagling to get it to weave. So under, you got to bend it to get it to shift through here, and then over, and that's the hole we're looking for. Next one, and this takes some practice getting the proper spotting through here, and then you do kind of got to weasel it around. We're going this way, under that one, under this one, and over that one. And again, you can bend these spokes. They shouldn't be so fragile that you're not going to bend them at least a little bit. And we keep going. Try to find a hole where you can get it up and through. You wouldn't want to put this spoke through here, because then you're not going to get it through that cross. Under, under, over. And there's a hole. Looks like we have one error here on the other side. When you're looking, if you look where your spokes cross and one is abnormal, then something has gone wrong. So I went under, under, over, under, under, over, under, under, over.
Now loading.
So this one's the abnormal. Something's going on there. But it looks as though this spoke is actually supposed to be over here. So we're going to move that over to here. Figured it out. We had a little bit of an error on this side where the spoke was not landing proper. So our last spoke to place in, going to come through here, under this one, under that one, over this one, into our last hole. And then you have a tri-cross spoked wheel. Kind of fun to monkey around with this stuff. If you don't really do much wheel building, you know, yes, it's certainly tough. It takes time, but it doesn't take an absolute genius to build a wheel. As you can see, I just did it. So, now clearly this needs a lot of tensioning and truing of everything. Many of these spokes are just sitting out way loose, but we have a wheel and everything's correctly placed. If you can do that, you're good to go. Our last thing will be to true this, which you'll see in another episode. I'm going to put a little bit of tension on these just to thread them down a little bit, but that's it. We're not going to true it at all. I'm just going to start getting these down to being a little bit tight. I'm going to just use a screwdriver from this side. Now clearly, when you get to that point, you're going to want to use a spoke wrench on the inside, but we're not there yet. We don't have our truing stand yet. That's coming in the mail. If you like content like this, feel free to drop a subscribe, throw a like on here, and all of those things. In the future, we're going to be talking about tools. We got other projects to work on and all sorts of things. So as you're watching me tension down just slightly some of these spokes, again, feel free to drop a like, subscribe, comment, all those things, so you can see more bike-related tools and all sorts of stuff. Catch you on the next one.